Chapter 16 of the Blythe Girls, Helen, Margie, and Rose, by Laura Lee Hope. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 16. Something Wrong. Margie, alarmed at the prospect of her employer's displeasure, committed the unheard extravagance of employing a taxicab to take her to the Riverside Drive house. The ride downtown seemed a nightmare. Traffic policemen popped out at them repeatedly, seeming only to wait the appearance of Margie in her cab as an excuse to tie up the long line of traffic. They reached the drive and Miss Pepper's home at last, and after paying the taxicab driver, Margie hurried into the house, her heart in her mouth. With any ordinary person, it would have been easy to explain the reason for her tardiness. They would have had a laugh over the alarm clock's failure and let it go at that. Not so with Miss Pepper. Upon some points, she was as much of a martinet as Rose's Miss O'Brien at the Losar Martin store. And she had a passion for promptness. Margie's disquiet was not relieved by the fact that she was met in the hall by the impertinent maid Jane, who announced that her mistress had gone out several minutes earlier and had left a message for her secretary. At this moment Rex Pepper stepped from the library and after greeting Margie like a long-lost friend, turned with a commanding air to the maid. "I will deliver your mistress's message, Jane," he said nonchalantly. The girl hesitated, but Pepper had an air with his aunt's servants that rather overawed them. Jane hesitated another moment, started to speak, thought better of it, and finally left Margie and Rex alone. "Come into the library a minute, Miss Blythe," said the young fellow, holding back the curtains invitingly. "You needn't stand there looking poised for flight." Margie entered the library, then turned to him in agitation. "Will you please deliver your aunt's message at once?" she demanded. "If she has gone, I must follow her." "That's exactly what I was about to suggest," replied Rex Pepper, with every air of sincerity. "I have my car all ready." "Car? What has your car to do with it?" cried Margie, puzzled and annoyed. "Oh, everything, as you will soon find out," retorted Pepper. "Now, Miss Blythe, this is the idea." He leaned toward her. "My aunt wants you to come out to the Blauvelt," naming a fashionable hotel on Long Island. "She had to go there to meet some of her infernal old clubwomen, and she was very anxious to have you come out there and take stenographic notes of the meeting." Margie flashed him a look of suspicion. "Strange she didn't say anything about this to me yesterday," she said, voicing the suspicion. "She didn't know anything about it until last evening after you left," answered Rex, still with that disarming air of sincerity. "The shindig seems a rather important one, and that's why she couldn't wait for you this morning." Margie was convinced at last, and she made an impatient movement toward the door. "In that case, we'd better be on our way," she suggested. "Right-o!" exclaimed Rex cheerfully. "As I said, the good little bus is all ready and all we need to do is to step on the gas." He escorted her to the street with as much formality as though they had been going to a dance together, and pointed out with pride the natty little roadster that stood on the curb waiting for them. "Just made for two," he observed as he opened the door and Margie slid into the low seat. "You just wait till you hear how easy she runs." The car did run easily, and under other circumstances, Margie would have enjoyed that run into the country immensely. It was luxury to sit in that comfortable, gently purring little speed car, to feel the wind on her face and to know again the joy and freedom of the outdoors. She stole a sideways glance at Rex Pepper and saw that he was better looking than she had thought him, now that he was doing something purposeful, if not particularly important. He returned her look and grinned. "Having a good time?" he queried. Margie stiffened. She was not taking this ride for a good time, and he should have realized that fact without telling. "It's pleasant," she admitted. "But you're not taking the ride for your health?" asked Rex Pepper. "You're a wonder, Miss Blythe. If I were half as crazy about work as you are, I'd be a Wall Street financier by this time." "Perhaps it would be better if you hated work less," remarked Margie, and Rex Pepper flushed under her glance. The next moment he resumed his usual good-natured grin. "I see you have acquired my aunt's disapproval of me, Miss Blythe," he said, adding with a quick look at her, "Never mind. She doesn't hate me half as much as she pretends to, and you aren't going to either when you know me better." To this Margie deigned no reply. From that time on, until they were forced to stop and change a tire, the girl kept her eyes straight on the road ahead and answered her companion's questions in the briefest of monosyllables. "Say, that's hot work, let me tell you!" exclaimed Pepper as he finished the exchange of tires and wiped his hands on a bit of old waste. "What say we stop for a little refreshment? A dish of ice cream, or two, or six? There's a first-rate joy dispersing parlor just a little way down the road." His voice and his eyes were pleading, but Margie replied firmly in the negative. "We haven't time," she reminded him. "If Miss Pepper is waiting—" "Oh, hang my aunt!" exploded the boy as he slithered into the driver's seat and sulkily started the engine. "Anybody'd think she was a czarina or something." "She is to me," sighed Margie, and again her companion favored her with a swift glance. This time he seemed really intent upon getting her to her destination as quickly as possible. As they covered mile after mile of white road, he kept his eyes ahead, seeming to urge every atom of speed out of the car. Margie leaned back with a sigh of relief. They must be almost there by now. "Here we are," said Rex Pepper suddenly. Margie saw a long winding drive leading up to a picturesque rambling old building in colonial style, painted white with green shutters. Rex drove up to the hotel and got out lazily. "I'll hunt up the old lady for you, and when I find her, I'll deliver her to you," he said. And Margie was glad enough to assent to this. There were several fashionably dressed people promenading the verandas, and Margie was conscious of her severely plain business suit. Rex appeared in what seemed an impossibly short time, and as he came over to the car, his boyish face was a study. He looked at the same time anxious, triumphant, and apologetic. "Well?" queried Margie impatiently, sensing that something was wrong. "Did you find her?" "She's gone," said the young fellow, adding with a grin, "Guess she got tired of waiting." Margie sat very still and her face grew suddenly white. Rex Pepper climbed into the driver's seat and started the engine. "Where are you going?" asked the girl with stiff lips. "Why, we may as well go for a ride since business is off for today," he answered carelessly. Margie turned upon him suddenly, her eyes blazing with anger. "You will stop this car at once, Mr. Pepper. I am going to get out. If you don't stop the car, I'll jump out." End of chapter 16.